Well, hello loves. I am popping in this week to do some Christmas holiday creating. And I typically, for my own personal use, I will make tags and stuff like that, or even like postcards to go with gifts, or in envelopes as I send stuff out. So I'm actually going to be making my own gift giving things, with you. But I thought I'd turn on the camera and just kind of have you see my process and how maybe kind of some of my setup and different things like that. I don't really know yet exactly everything that I'm going to be doing. I just kind of turned on the camera and thought you might like to see it. And plus, too, I wanted to do some holiday Christmas kind of creating because all the winter stencils, the winter category stencils are on sale for the next couple of weeks at 15% off, so that you can create your own holiday, Christmas, whatever you celebrate, winter gifts and things like that. But I always usually start with my tags first. I love, giving a beautiful tag on a gift. Everyone's always like, they can't wait for whatever tag is next on their gifts and stuff like that. So this year, and I try to make it as simple as that's not true because some of my tags are really involved, and I really want to be intentional about making them simple this year. I hope. I always say that, and then I just, it's this little snippet of goodness, and I sometimes can 100% overdo it. So we'll see how it goes this time. So I want to show you what I've got out because I think it's really, really important, especially as we're creating multiples for gifts and things like that, that we kind of have a flow as to what we're doing. And I just want to kind of show you that. And this will be like a 3 or 4 part series of me creating the things that I want to create for family and for gifts and stuff like that. So, okay. So out here now, I've got all of my stencils and obviously I want to show you the stencils because they're on sale, but I use my stencils especially for this kind of thing because it's quick, it's easy, it's just all those things. So I've got them stacked. I have a lot of really great ones, and as I was pulling them out to kind of get ready to start making, I was like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. So, and I was only going to bring out a couple, but I have like 4 different stacks on my floor and on my table. And so I've got all my stencils ready to go. And I think having the things ready to go is so important so that you can just kind of boom, 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 do things fast. So I've got all of those out. Then I've got my, this is Bristol paper. This is, I'm pretty sure it's either 90 or 140 pound Bristol paper. And one of the reasons I like Bristol paper versus watercolor paper is it's really smooth, so that I can either do something really smooth on it, or I could put paper on it or whatever. It just will withstand so many things. And I also have, so these are 4x7. And you could cut them to look like tags. I usually always make my own, but I kind of like the square tag. I will punch a hole in them eventually and put ribbon and stuff like that. But I also have 5x7. So this is just a 1 inch bigger than these. I think I did that right. 4. Let me just see. Is that right? What did I do? Let's see. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I need to learn how to read a ruler. Oh, no. Okay, 4x7 and 5x7. And so I have 5x7s because, like I said, I don't like to do a card necessarily. just because, you know, I don't know. I don't prefer it. But you could definitely do a card with whatever I'm doing if you want to do that. I always say I'm not a card maker. And I know lots of you are. So I have those pages cut and ready to go. And I have a stack of them. Because, you know, I'll make a few and then some I don't like. And then so, you know, I kind of weed them out. So I've got those. That's Bristol paper ready to go for whatever I decide. Then I've got collage papers ready to go. And these are all, so like this was the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house. This is like a, you know, book page. And these are Christmas music. The Happy Christmas Comes. While Shepherds Watched, Oh Holy Night, Joy to the World. A whole bunch of different ones. These will all be available in the resource library to download if you want to grab those, along with this is autumn words and this is winter words or Christmas words, however you call it. So I have a bunch of different collage papers ready to go. Plus I have just some regular vintage book pages that I can use too. I have a couple different books out here and part of the thing I want to be careful when I'm doing that is that I don't have something that's kind of, you know, that's not along the theme of Christmas. So, you know, I have to kind of be careful with that. That's why I like to use the printed papers. But this is nice because it's just like a shorthand book. So I like using this because there's pattern, but not any, you know, story or anything like that. So I like this one. So I've got those ready to go. And then I have out, and I want to try and do something a little bit different this time. And I've got some tissue paper. And this tissue paper is just regular cheap, super cheap, like dollar store, or I get it off Amazon. And it's like just the regular gift wrapping tissue paper. It comes like this in the package. And what I do is I cut it into like 8 by 10 squares. And part of the reason I do that is because I also print, you know, you've seen me put my quotes or my words down that are on tissue paper. That's why I cut it to 8 by 10, because then I can take an 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11 sheet of copy paper and tape it down and run it through the printer. But I probably won't be doing that for what I'm doing, you know, for these projects. I might, you never know. But I have tissue paper ready because I want to do some stenciling on them so that I can then put them onto my projects, my tags and stuff like that. And using tissue paper, it goes transparent if you use fluid matte medium, and I love that. So I have that ready. And then let me put I had an order here, so I want to make sure I keep it in order. Put that on the floor. Then I also have out some deli paper. Now this is my, I get it from Amazon, and it's called bakery tissue. It's dry wax bakery tissue. It's on Amazon. Super cheap. I mean, there's 1,000 sheets in here. I have so many, and I've used this a ton. But they're a great size as well. I believe this is like an 8 by 10. Yeah, 8 by 10 sheet. And I should try printing on this and see how it goes. But again, this isn't as transparent as tissue paper, but it's pretty close, and it's really durable. Tissue paper can be super easy to tear. So that's why I like using the deli paper, because I can really kind of get in there and flatten it out, maybe on my tag or whatever, and it'll take a beating. And so I've got my 8 by 10 deli dry wax bakery tissue is what it's called by because I know somebody will ask. By, it just says DPI Interfold Dry Wax Bakery Tissue. So that's what I'm using for my stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna put that, I've got my little tray set up next to me. I've got a tray right down here that I have stencils on, and I have my tissue paper and all of that goodness. So I'm gonna put that there, stencils there. And then I also have out just some copy paper to possibly use and work with as I'm creating, and where, you know, and I don't exactly know where I'm going to go with this. So what I want to start with though is I'm going to grab a couple of pieces. I'm just going to grab some like cleanup paper here just to kind of put down. Actually, I think what I'll do too, I'll do this instead, or maybe both. I have, so I have these, this is by the same company, same dry wax deli paper, but these are 15 by 10 sheets. So they're nice and big. And so they're great for under the, you know, as you're creating to kind of keep the tabletop clean and still be used for, because like whatever lands on these can be used for projects. So, okay, now got that out here. And I want to start by just getting some words down. And I love doing this. I'll do this just random, like if I'm looking for something to create or something to do in the studio and I don't know what to do, I will do this. And in fact, I have a bunch on my table from the last time, but I have all my Christmas words out here, or holiday words, whatever you want to call them. I have them out here, and I want to just put them down on tissue paper so that I have them ready, so that when I get to a project, I can add these, you know, along with some of my other Christmas words, the small ones. So I've got out here my little roller tray that I got either from like Home Depot, Lowe's, your home improvement store. But the nice thing is it has a lid. I think Amazon has one too, but I'm not exactly sure. So, and then I keep it in a baggie like this. You can see I have white and I have a couple other colors, and I have another baggie full of colors. And I love using the roller with my stencils. It just is quick, super, super quick. So I will just load up my brush and then just roll it out here. Onto that 8 by 10 piece of tissue paper, and that's another reason why they're 8 by 10 too, is because my stencils are 8 by 10. And see how perfect those are, and then I can just cut out whichever one I want for a project. So I'm going to put this one down on the floor, because of course that's where everything goes. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of deli paper and press this out. And yes, everything will be backwards. And another piece of deli paper just to get the extra paint off of there. But then these papers go into the pile of things that can be used for like collage fodder and stuff. So So this one's got like the outline of it, which I'll save and reuse to blot up the other one. But see, now I've got the reverse of that. So, see how cool that looks? So I can turn it over. See that? And then my tissue paper will go transparent, except don't get it stuck together like I am. So I'm going to put that on the floor. And I like doing this technique for all my letters stencils, and I might even do a couple just for these projects as well. But I mean, they just turn out so nicely with the roller. So yeah, I'm having a hard time deciding where to put things, obviously. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a piece of deli paper, and deli paper has a little bit shinier side and a dull side. I like to use the dull side. Put this down, and I'll bring this cleanup paper back. Make sure there's no wet paint on there. Ooh, that one's cool because it's really kind of scratchy looking. Oh, I like that. Put that down there. So I'll turn this over. So hopefully you can see. I like that kind of scratchy look of it. Oh man, that's a good one. And you could do this with any stencil or any of the holiday stencils as well. I got black paint everywhere on the fingers. Oh, I missed the S. And that's a good one, Silent Night. I think I want to use that one. So I'll come back, make sure I got that. Oh, I got a little heavy. That's okay. Nice. Just always makes me happy. And let's see, let's bring this one over just so that I don't have any black paint on there. Deli paper. Print it. Yeah. And while those are drying, I thought I would try a couple of new techniques. So I'm just gonna, and the nice thing about this roller is I just leave the paint in there, close the lid, make sure it's all down, put it back in its zippy bag. I don't think I have any wet paint on here. Just in case, I'm gonna get another piece of deli paper out. And what I thought I would start with today is, and this really is kind of just to get the creative juices flowing. You got to start somewhere, and sometimes you're like, I don't know what I'm going to make or create, and sometimes you just got to start and see where we go. So I've got the eucalyptus leaves. What did I do with that one? I thought I just had it right here. This is how it goes when you just turn on the camera. Oh, right here. Okay. So I wanted to do a couple of just really simple, modern, not too fancy. So like that, of a eucalyptus leaf. It could be like a mistletoe. Like represent a mistletoe leaf. But I want to do it like a watercolor. I know, that sounds crazy for me, but I'm thinking about family members, and some have a kind of a modern or more hip than me. And so I'll scooch this over. I've been wanting to try this, and I'm just gonna do it and see how it turns out. See if I like it or not. So I've got some Hooker's Green. I'm using gouache, acrylic gouache, which is permanent and yet kind of waters down very nicely, so I can get kind of a watercolor look. I'm using a watercolor brush, nice long round brush, and I'm gonna take some of this green out here and add a tiny bit of black to it to kind of give me an olivey color. And I'm not going to put anything on the background. Hopefully, I'm not going to get any we'll see. This could turn out to be a complete disaster. But, well, you know, gotta try. Okay. So I want to get this really watered down enough. And my cardstock hasn't been primed or anything. It's as if I were creating a watercolor. And I just want to lightly come over this and see how we do. I want it to be kind of free, so I don't want it to be perfect. Well, that's beautiful. I am very happy with that. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of that green on my, so I'm going to bring that branch all the way up. And then I'll kind of come in here and kind of strengthen some of my lines. And one of the things that you know, you guys, if you've been around me at all, you know that I always say use your stencils as your guide. It's just easy because I didn't have to think too hard about that. So I want to come in and just drop a few colors in. Like that. I love this. That's awesome. And then I want to come with a little bit of this cadmium red deep. I'm going to give this a dry first and then I'll come back. Okay, so this is dry. Look at how pretty. Oh, I'm so happy. I've got a Posca pen out here before I do my red. And I was thinking that I wanted to put, and I don't know, I'm gonna try I've got a fine pit pen here. And I was thinking that I wanted to kind of do a little bow. Just kind of roughly. And the reason I'm using, say, a pen versus a pastel or anything like that, I don't want to have to seal this. It'll be ready to go once I'm done. And I want it to, again, to be simple. So I like that. So it feels very light. So I'm gonna try it with my Posca pen. Do I have a smaller one? Ooh, maybe this one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll come back and just kind of very imperfectly kind of make my little bow here. How sweet is that? I like that. I like the simplicity of this. Okay, now back to my red and my gouache and my brush, and so that's a pretty red. That's this is Cad-Free Red Deep. So I want to just kind of drop in some berries here. Possibly not so much. Feels very, very strong here. So, oh. Okay. That's a big one. And I'm going to dry my brush and come back in and kind of pick up some of that. And I'll put a little water back on and come in here and kind of water that down a little bit. And the nice thing about gouache is that it dries permanent, so I'm not having to worry about it reactivating the paint underneath. So and then I want to take a tiny bit of that. I want to make sure I don't have too much water on my brush, so I'm kind of squeezing it out a little bit. And I just want to kind of come in and add a little color here. And I might even grab a tiny little line through my leaves here, just a little bit. Again, we want to make my whole point is for this to be easy. It's too hard because I always I get into it and I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. Okay, that I love. And then I want to grab a little bit of this green and a little bit of that black and make it a little bit darker. A little more green in there. Lots of water on my brush. And I want to just kind of maybe add a little of that around my card here to kind of define it. And I'm making sure to kind of make sure that this area here is not going to get onto the back. But however, even if it does, family members have always said that they love seeing those marks on the back. Because I write back here. I write, a note and encouragement and stuff like that. They always tell me that they love seeing that fingerprint or something like that because it just makes it so personal. So keep that in mind too. Everything doesn't have to be quite so perfect. Sometimes we think it does, but our people love us and want to see part of us in what we do. Okay, very nice. I'm going to turn that over. And then I'm going to grab, I could do red, I think what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of, okay, I've got some Prussian blue out here. And I actually have some unbleached titanium. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to add a little bit of light to that, almost to make it gray. You see that? Again, this is all my gouache. And I'm just going to give it some sprinkles. Cute. And then what I will do is I am going to use, trying to decide if I use, let me see what I have here. I'm going to use one of my little tiny words from a sheet here. And okay, nice, nice, nice. I'm going to grab one of my, what did I do with my, here, one of these. I'm going to make one just a slightly bit bigger to kind of border it. Yeah, down here. So I need to wait for this to dry. So I'm going to dry this, and then I'm just going to put these two pieces down. I'm going to use my matte gel and put that down. And I'm going to grab my archival ink. I always use my archival ink to kind of do the edges, to kind of shade the edges a little bit more. So I'll get that started, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my tag. I've got my word down, my little background, so cute. I punched a hole with my hole punch. And then I also have a ribbon out here that I bought years ago, like this big roll of sari ribbon. That's just of course it's a total mess. You could use anything. You could use twine. I like raffia. I'll do anything. And I typically try to use leftovers. So like these are really, really old, and I just keep going back to them and using them up each time. Like that would be cute in there too. So I've got this red one out. I thought I would try that. And then I've got my archival ink here, and I just want to just kind of touch the edges here. Just kind of gives it a little bit of a finished look. And I try to stay away from, I mean, I don't do it all the time. I was just looking at old videos of my cards and tags and stuff. But I have kind of gotten away from using my charcoal or my pastels on my tags because I have to seal them. Otherwise, there's charcoal or pencil every time you touch it. And so that's no fun. That's so cute. And then I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this black. Tiniest bit. And dab that off. Maybe do a little around here as my shading. Just a tiny bit. How cute that is. Ooh, it makes me want to do some up here. Huh. See, this is what happens. So I start getting ideas like, ooh, I should do that. Okay, I'm not going to get carried away here. Because again, simple. Simple is best. Okay, then my ribbon. So you can use all of it. Let's see, how big do I, that's kind of big. So let's see here. I like the frayed edges of it. It's just so fun. Is it too thick? Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. So I like to kind of stick it through the hole here, fold it in half like that, and then put my ribbon through like that. And boom, a tag. So now this will go on a present. A lot of times I don't even punch a hole. I just stick it, I stick the like whole card into their package. It just depends on the person that I'm giving to. So I know exactly who this is going to go to. So look at how cute that is. And then I can tie that on the package, or I can, you know, if I wanted it longer, I could tie a bow or whatever. But yes, I love that. I love this idea. And so I want to try a few others like this. So I'm going to set this aside. So that one's done. Now I'm going to kind of tidy this up a little bit and set up for the next adventure.